Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Soul Care Nomad. My name is Matthew Wilbanks, and I'm here with my good friend who has some nice job security, Dr. John Okinaga. Dr. O, something really special happened to you on Tuesday this week.
What was Tuesday? Oh, yeah. I think, what classes did I teach on Tuesday? Yeah, hey, it's been that week. We had our convocation, and I was officially, I don't know, not in officially installed in an academic chair, and then I'm officially a Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary professor who's elected faculty, not just appointed.
Yep.
So yeah, it's a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You're not just someone that's disposable anymore. You actually have.
Yes, I was never disposable. That comes off wrong, but what did my mom say? You're just harder to fire now.
Yes.
That's pretty much how my mom's. That was like context. I was like, thanks, Mom.
Hey man, so, you're not just a diversity hire. You're the real deal.
Yeah, I mean, so maybe we can be a little bit. No, I was gonna say maybe we can be a little more lax on what we edit here. We just let it go, and no.
No. You might not care about it, but I do.
Grace was funny. We're because Grace is my TA, and there's been times in the past where she's had to selectively edit things because I tell her to selectively. She's like, "Hey, last semester, I didn't have to edit anything for you."
That's because I've done all the editing.
Yeah. Well, this semester is addictions class, so she's probably thinking, we're gonna have to do some edits. I'm pretty sure it's almost a guarantee.
Yep.
Yeah.
I had dinner with a student and another youth worker last night, and that's the first time I've been able to actually do ministry outside of church walls. So it felt good to actually, do my job.
You got outside the bubble of your office?
I did. Oh my gosh, dude. I gotta do something. I'm sitting in a tan room with a couple random frames and my lapel pin board posted up on these walls. I gotta do something else. Maybe get like a giant fat head. Do you remember those? The giant stickers that you put on your wall?
Those came out when I was doing drugs, so no. Never got it.
I was saying I can get a giant fat head of me just to really,
You should just get a giant fat head of me.
No. I actually want to make my office look good.
Hey, you know what I realized? James's birthday is coming up, and I realized that I was so busy last year. Like on my walls, I have pictures of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I realized I had birth to 1 to 2, but I didn't buy anything from 2 to 3. So I finally got those up, and in 2 weeks, I got to order 3 to 4.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I mean. You don't have to do a fat head, but you can kind of do like a collage of pictures like how I have in my office.
That's true.
Yeah.
But if anything, I'm just going to get nerd stuff and throw it around somewhere in my office.
So kind of like my bookshelf?
Yes, like your Darth Vader collectible card and the shofar your dad gave you.
Yeah, so I think I've updated my... What's on there? Oh, there's no card up there. I think I gave it away to someone.
I was about to say, did you sell that thing?
No, I don't sell the Star Wars stuff. That's not a moneymaker. Star Wars is a net loser.
Oh.
Like, you don't make money off of Star... I mean, no, that's not true. You could make money off of Star Wars, but it's very, very hard. So, like, say they put out a set, and out of a set, maybe like 2 cards make money, and that is Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. and everyone else is a net loser. Like you're not going to make money. But it also helps that if I want to buy something, it's cheap, and so as long as I don't view it as an investment and I just view it as something fun to have, we're good. And Matt, I think I gave it away. I don't have. I gave away all my Star Wars cards.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, because students or other professors will come in and hey, that's a really cool card. And in the back of my head, how much should I pay for that? $10? Yeah, you can have it.
Well, folks, this has been your monthly sports card collector's card talk with John Okanaga. Thank you for listening. Let's get on to the real stuff now.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want free Star Wars cards, come visit me in my office. Actually, no, don't come visit me in my office because I don't have any Star Wars cards to give away.
Yeah, you just said you didn't have any,
Yeah, I
which
just realized that. Like, yeah, I'm looking in my drawers. I swore I had like a Han Solo and a Princess Leia somewhere, but obviously not anymore. I know Madison has a few of my Star Wars cards.
so you can go see Dr. Grace when you get on the campus.
I'm on campus.
I mean, for our listeners.
Oh yeah. If you want to start, no, bro, he want the cards I given him. There's no way he's giving it up. I got him a signed Admiral Thrawn card, bro. Like he
If you
lost
say
his mind.
signed, they're
Yeah,
holding on to that. Okay, focus,
focus.
focus,
Got it.
Doctor O.
Yes, sir. All
All
right,
right,
let's
so
get
in
to
this
it.
episode,
I have no idea what we're talking about, but it's
yes, you
fine.
do. We're talking about your daily schedule or your
Oh
weekly
crap.
schedule and how it's incredibly overbooked. Um, so in this episode, this could be a long or short episode. I mean, we kind of come at that every week, but overwork. A lot of times you have weeks. I was talking with my worship pastor a couple weeks ago. He's like, "Man, there are some weeks you work 30 hours, and there are some weeks you work 60." Um,
Yep.
so when we hit that kind of limit of being overworked, so something you experience every week, Doctor O. Um,
Not every week. Well,
but what are your just quick initial thoughts on overwork?
everyone has seasons, right? So
Mm,
I'm not actually against working a lot of hours. I've always worked a lot of hours. Like that's just been, I don't know. I've always done it. Well, no, in my addictions, not so much. I played a lot, so
yeah.
I'll preface that. But since I've been sober, I've worked a lot in various stages or phases of life,
Hmm.
and I think that it also depends where you're at in life. Like if you're single, work, doesn't really matter how many hours you work. My thing, as long as you're taking your Sabbath and you prioritize rest once a week, go do your thing.
Yep.
Whether it's 40 hours a week, 50 hours a week, 60 hours a week, as you're building up things, you got to put the work in. But I think things change once you get married. And
Mm,
then you have to reprioritize um, what's important. And then when you have a kid, then it changes again. Now, it was funny. I was just talking to Dr. Kinnemer and Dr. Kreider right before we came in, and we are just talking about the flexibility of our schedules here at Southwestern, and that's something that we absolutely love is the freedom to schedule our days to work how we want. So there's been a few days recently where I've left the house at 6, I get in like at 6:30, and then I'll leave at 3.
hmm
So there's a lot of flexibility there. But I think we all have to be wise in how we steward our time.
mm,
Like stewardship is a big deal. And I stopped looking at it as a weekly, how many hours am I working? And I've kind of morphed it into a monthly thing. If I get in my 160 hours in a month, we're good. So, like last week, I worked 65 hours.
mm,
Not, not the brightest move ever. I'll own it. Probably not wise working 65 hours, but you know, And this week I'm gonna put in a lot of hours because I got in at what 7:40, 8 o'clock, and I'm gonna be here till 9 tonight. But it's because we don't have work next Monday, so I got to get stuff done.
Mm.
And maybe I'm gonna take off September 13th for James's birthday. So I've stopped looking at it as a weekly investment, but as a monthly investment of my time.
Mm.
But with that said, I've always told you guys, all right, and I try to live this out in my own life. It's God, family, work. God, family, work. And I'm blessed to have Nicole, and Nicole sometimes says, "You're done." And especially when I was working on the heart issues book, Matt,
Oh yeah.
there'd be nights where she's like, "You coming to bed?" Because I try to avoid. I always try to avoid working between 5 and 8. That's time with James and Nicole.
Hmm.
But there'd be some nights as soon as 8 o'clock, straight to the computer, up till 12, 1. And I think that we need to understand that part of it is like an identity problem, right?
Mm.
Workaholism can come from on deeper issues like identity, fear. I think fear of man is a big one. Like we want to impress someone, so we feel we have to work more, but that shouldn't be our impetus or the reason why we work hard. Or why we should work hard is to bring God praise, glory, and honor, not ourselves.
Mm.
And as I look back on the heart issues thing, I needed it done for Japan. So I busted my tail so that Japan would have something moving forward. And that wasn't about me. That was about, we have an opportunity to reach this people group that doesn't know Jesus. So I put in the extra work there.
Hmm.
But then the flip side, am I making excuses? Because of course there's some self-involvement. Hey, getting another book published, going to be the resource for Japan. So it's like truly looking at our heart. Like, what does a heart say about us?
Hmm.
And ultimately, that's up to only God knows. So like Proverbs says, all a person's way may seem right to him, but the Lord weighs the motive. So I can say I'm doing it to bring God praise, glory, and honor. And I can truly believe that. But at the end of the day, only God can judge me. In the
Yep.
immortal words of Tupac Shakur, only God knows my heart.
Mm.
Not you, not Nicole, not my parents. Only God knows.
Yep.
But like circling back to where the Sabbath is important. You got to have that one day where you're just going to rest in the Lord. And we actually talked about this in practicum on Tuesday. And someone says, "How do I practically navigate a Sabbath?" And I said at 11:59 p.m. on a Saturday, I stop, and until 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, I don't return students' emails. I don't work on books. I don't read dissertations. I don't do nothing. And one of the, like we always hold events at my house. And someone said, "So what happens when you host an event on Sunday at your house? You're working, you're cooking." And I'm like, "No, bro. Like I actually enjoy cooking. Like that's not work for me at all. I
Hmm.
thoroughly enjoy cooking because I think I do it well. But for whatever reason, that's not considered work for me now. And neither is mowing the lawn. Like mowing the lawn is relaxing for me. For whatever reason, mowing the lawn, good times, let's do it. But if you're to tell me to wash clothes, clean the house, mop the floors, do all of that stuff, that'll be work for me. So that's my excuse to Nicole on Sundays why I can't. I'm like, "Nicole, it's my Sabbath." But I think the flip side of overworking is we also have a lot of lazy people.
Mm.
So initially we phrase this as if you work too much, a quote unquote workaholic. But then we also have people who are lazy who don't work,
Hmm.
who do you don't even know what they're doing with their time half the time. And I think that the only way that you can really find, I guess, balance is stewardship.
Yep.
What are you actually doing with your time? So what's a good verse on stewardship? So I'm going to model for everyone. I tell my students what's a great verse, or how, if you don't know what passage to go to, use your phone. So stewardship, off the top of my head, I'm drawing a blank. So let's go stewardship Bible verse. All right, so let's go with 1 Corinthians 4:2. It is required of stewards that they may be found faithful. So that's faithful in how we manage our time.
Mm-hmm.
And I would hope that if someone looks at my calendar, yeah, my calendar is full, but you don't see diddly squat between 5 and 8 ever, unless Tuesday nights I teach, and tonight I teach Japan. Bad week example, but normally, and I'm only doing 3 times for Japan this entire year at night, so we're good, or a little bit more. But what are you doing with your time?
Mm.
So I'm going to ask you a question, Matt. What is your workday look? Now it's my turn to ask you questions.
Okay.
So what does your workday usually look like?
Mine consists of getting here at the office at 8. Um, if it's Monday, we have a staff meeting at 10. Um, Tuesday, that's really my get everything ready for Wednesday day. So I'll look over my sermon, kind of get PowerPoint stuff set and everything. Um, Wednesday, it's get food ready because we have little snacks and stuff. So that's kind of the big thing for that. Thursday is either get ready for Sunday school if I'm teaching on Sunday, or it's, continue to work on next week's sermon or the week after. I'm actually a week ahead. And then on Friday, I get up here and then I kind of wait for you to tell me whenever you're ready to record. And then depending on what time it is, we record. And then I go home, and Friday is grocery and laundry day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll go to the grocery store, get all my groceries, and then I'll be home for lunch, and then I'll start doing lunch on laundry because in my apartment complex we have a laundry room, and no one else does their laundry Friday in the afternoon. Weirdly enough, it's like everyone else has normal work schedules.
So let me ask you this, Matt. Do
Hmm.
you think you're a good steward? So if we're to put you on, I don't want to use the word spectrum, on where you're at, would you consider yourself lazy in regards to stewardship? Are you lazy doing it right, or are you a workaholic?
I'm probably right in the middle between lazy and doing it right.
Okay.
Because as I mentioned, I think I mentioned it earlier, or was it before? I don't know. It's been a while. Like this is yes, last night was the first time I was able to actually meet with a student outside of church.
Mm,
Um, so there are lots of opportunities I need to be growing in, and I think I've kind of settled into the whole full time gig lifestyle.
yeah.
Um, so there's still a lot of things I'm working out that I could be doing and improving. Um, but like there are some times where just for the span of like an hour, I'm just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know who I'm supposed to talk to, if I'm supposed to do anything. So it's still kind of in that limbo state in some
Sure.
points, but for the
So let
most
me ask
part,
you
I'm
this.
slowly getting it right.
So you said you would probably say that you're between lazy and where you need to be.
Hmm.
What counsel would you give someone who's in the same position on how to get closer to where you need to be? What are some practical things that you would suggest to them?
One of the things I would suggest is when I was working um, in food service, we had a saying of if you have time to lean, you have time to clean.
Mm,
And one of the things that I have to remind myself is, if I'm just sitting around not doing anything, in a way, I'm stealing money.
mm,
And I have to remind myself, and I don't always do a good job of that, but when I do remind myself of that, then I'll I'll probably get up. I'll go talk to my pastor if he's available. Just, little chit chat stuff that normally leads to something, that I can pull from and learn from.
Yeah.
I'll talk to my church secretary, um, see what's going on and with her, and just, talk and kind of get my mind reset. And especially if, she needs something from me, something I can do. Um, I'll go do that, talk to children's minister, worship pastor. I'll just, kind of do my rounds, I guess you
Yeah.
could say. Um, because for me personally, what I have to do is when I get in these kind of spots of laziness, it's normally because I've been by myself too long and I need
Mm,
to get up and start interacting with people so that I can remember, oh, this is what I'm working for.
yeah. Well, good. All right. So let's flip it. You look at my life. Where am I on the continuum?
You are pushing the boundaries of workaholic at times.
But hey, I also, yeah, I was going to say, hey, there's sometimes I take time off and I'm like, okay, not this year, not yet.
No,
Um,
not when you have speaking engagements on the weekends.
yeah, that is true. So, hey, it's good. This fall, I don't think I think I have like two total, which is
Oh man.
amazing. That's great.
Yep.
Give me one, and then I'll go over what I would suggest for people.
hmm
But give me one practical advice.
Um, I've had I've been talking with a good friend of mine about some issues with him and his mind running all over the place, trying to get all this stuff done. And I was like, hey, stop. Just the work that you're doing. It can be done tomorrow because I know you'll be diligent to do it. So
Yeah.
just stop. Um, One of the things, if for someone in your situation to where you do have a lot of responsibilities, there are things that won't be able to get done. Um, it is we need to kind of carve out that time. Not again, we kind of talked about this last week. The me time. I'm not talking about getting me time. I'm
Hmm.
saying you need time to assess the situation because I think a lot of the times when we are dealing with overwork, we deal with too much thinking, too much moving, and not enough breathing.
Hmm.
And my Apple Watch, is a great piece of technology, but one of the most annoying things is it dings these reminders every now and then to like, hey, breathing helps with productivity. And
Really? How do
yeah,
I get that on my watch?
probably because you turned it off.
I pro-
It probably dinged once and you're like, I don't want to do this. And you turned it off.
That's probably true. How do I do that? Anyway, I'll figure that out.
You'll figure that out
Um,
after we stop recording. So one of the things, like we our minds are running at 100 miles an hour, our feet are running at 200 miles an hour, but we're not taking any time to actually like process what's going on.
yeah.
And there's a reason God created for 6 days and then he rested on the seventh is
Hmm.
because we are made for work. Philippians 2 says, if since I am persuaded of this, I know that I will remain and continue with all of you for your progress and joy in the faith. Like we have a responsibility to do,
Hmm.
but I also know that Paul didn't work 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
Yeah.
He took time and rested because I know this because that's exactly what Jesus did.
Mm.
And
But see, Matt, that's where I struggle is because I know I take my Sabbath.
mhm,
Therefore, I can go 18 hours a day working,
mhm,
but that's a lie that Satan has told me
mhm,
because it's not true. I have other priorities, and I'm, and, and what I would hope that if you're listening to this and you're a workaholic, where's your family in this? And
mhm.
will you listen to your spouse or will you listen to your kid? Because one of the things for me, Matt, that has really helped me not work as much at home, I'm working on just leaving work at work.
Yeah.
But is when James comes in and said, "Daddy, you're always working."
Mm-hmm.
If you're not, I think if you're in an unhealthy place, you'll just keep working regardless. But if you're in a good place, it's like, you know what, son, you're right. And you save whatever document you're working on, you shut off your computer, and then you go into the TV room and watch an episode of Bluey with your kid. Or, you watch something with your wife or your spouse or whatever it is. And I think, like, ultimately, in order to overcome whether it's laziness or being a quote unquote, a workaholic, is making sure that their identity is rooted in Christ, not in their job or their titles or their positions or whatever it is. That truly, like, they're just trying to become more Christ-like in everything,
Mm-hmm.
and not just in some things and everything. And that's a challenge. And I say that because a lot of pastors, if you're a pastor listening to this, you're probably working. Well, you're either going to be on one end of the spectrum. You're working like 20 hours a week and golfing most of the time, or staying at home and doing who the heck knows what you're doing, or you're on the other side of the spectrum and you're working 60 hours every week with no breaks, no Sabbath, nothing.
Mm.
You got to stop. You just got to, if you think like, hey, he's judging me because I'm being lazy, well, then I'm not judging. You probably are. And at the same time, if you're listening to this and you identify more with working the 60 hours a week, I'm not judging you. Like, I'm there with you. So let's just get back to where our identity is in Christ and not our positions. That'll be my final counsel on how to navigate this topic.
Yeah, real quickly.
Sure.
Philippians 1:27. Just one thing, as citizens of heaven, live your life worthy of the gospel of Christ to your work, but also to your family.
Mm.
I think that's the important part. Is we need to be, as parents, obviously primary disciplers of their kids. If your life is worthy of a promotion, that's one thing. But if your life is worthy of the gospel, that impacts your home, it impacts your work, it impacts the trips you take to the grocery store, everything.
Yeah.
We need to have a right ordering of our lives. Again, we've talked about priorities, we've talked about entertainment and everything. This topic of ordering our lives correctly, there's a reason it's over and in so many different topics we've talked about, because it's really, really important. So
Mm-hmm.
if you are a citizen of heaven, live your life worthy of the gospel of Christ, whether you are at home, whether you're at work, or wherever you are. 2 Corinthians 5:9 says, whether we are at home or away, we make it our aim to be pleasing to Christ. So be pleasing to Christ whether you're at home or at work. And that's pretty much the bottom line.
I agree with
Because
that.
Stone Cold said so.
Oh my gosh, Matthew.
Thank you so much for listening to this episode. Thank you for so much for listening to Soul Care Nomad. If you have any questions, our email is in the description, as well as all of our other good stuff. So we will see y'all in the next one. Bye, everybody.
Have a great day. Don't be stupid.
Don't be stupid.
I'm doing the mindfulness breathing anyway. All right, I found it.
There
All right,
it is.